Hi everybody, today is Tuesday, March 26th, and this is on Spotlight on the Mount Vernon Public Library. I'm near a busy street, so I hope you can hear me okay. So today I'm going to talk about my professional relationship experience with the current board president, Shanice Coleman. I really didn't know who she was before 2022. Hadn't had any interaction with her that I recall. But she was board president, and Ron Hood and James Carlos were appointed by the New York State Education Department. I know Ron Hood for going on 9 years because we worked together at the Valhalla Jail. I have a jailhouse jazz workshop program that I'm going into my 9th year, and I liaison with Ron Hood because I work with his group, his team, and the incarcerated that he works with there at the jail in a particular section. I've been working in the same block for 8 years. So anyway, I know Ron Hood because through that program, and he attracted attention of the education department through the library system because he decided to start a book club for his participants, his incarcerated participants. And he really got it going. I mean, it's really, really cool what he's done because he wanted to help promote literacy. So through that book club, he was appointed, James Carlos was appointed, and then Ron Hood was asked who he would like to appoint to fill the last spot. So he approached me at the end of 2022, and I said, no, not interested. I didn't want to get involved in the mess, okay? But over a few conversations, he convinced me, and the time came to have the board meeting on December 21, 2022. Before that time, some resumes had been submitted to President Coleman for the spot, and 3 individuals that I know of who had resumes submitted to her were Butch Thomas, Damaris Monet, and my resume. So as she was talking with James Carlos on who she wanted him to vote for, she withheld my resume and only talked to him about Butch Thomas and Damaris Monet. And at that time, comparing the two, Carlos agreed with Coleman that Monet was the better candidate, the stronger candidate, with more experience, etc. So, but that was before he knew about me or saw my resume. So then he and Hood were having a conversation, and Hood realized that Carlos had not seen my resume. So he forwarded it to Carlos, and he looked it over, and he, agreed to meet me on the phone. So we had a 3-way conversation. Hood, Carlos, and I spoke, and they asked me a few questions. We just had a conversation, And so when the day came on December 21, 2022, to vote on the appointment, my name came up, much to Coleman's surprise, or she wasn't happy about it. And I was appointed that day. I should add that earlier that day, she called me and asked me to step back from being appointed. The reason was she had promised Damaris Monet this appointment, and she promised me that I would be appointed later on when Hope Marable was removed from the board, sometime in the spring, maybe March or April, is what she said. I thanked her for her call. I didn't promise I would step down. I didn't say yes or no. I just listened and, showed her respect and, thank you for expressing your opinion. And I ended the phone call. And then later that day, I attended the meeting by Zoom. And that's when Maribel, Hood, and Carlos voted to appoint me to take the last open seat. So that's how I was appointed to be trustee at the library. And so since it's only about 6 minutes, I will go ahead and finish how I got actually sworn in. So Coleman wasn't too happy about me being voted in instead of Monet. But she kind of went along. She seemed to go along with it. And she called me and said, okay, so let's have a swearing in on January 3 at 3 p.m. Call the library, get transferred to Executive Director Timor Davis' office. I'll be there and we'll put you on speakerphone and we'll do a swearing in ceremony on that day. I said, okay. So she was texting me and, I have her text confirming this. So I said, okay. But then I started inquiring what it actually is required for it to be an official swearing in. And what I learned, just, asking around and doing my research, what I realized was that I needed to be in New York and sign documents with a New York notary and then turn the papers in to the executive director. So I booked a flight and I flew here. I think it was January 2. Yeah, January 2 I flew in and met with my local friendly New York notary and got 5 copies of the form. And Ron Hood videotaped a formal swearing in. And then we drove over to the library and we surprised Director Davis. So we walked in and he saw me and he said, oh, you're here. I said, yes, I am. And he said, I need to call the president. I said, I think you do. So Hood stepped out to talk to somebody. I don't know. Anyway, he was out of the office and he came in to the middle of the following conversation. Timor Davis called Coleman and I could hear her hollering at him from across the room. And his response was basically very defensive, as in saying, I didn't know she was coming. It's not my fault. I didn't know. She just showed up. She and Ron just showed up. I didn't know they were coming. It's not my fault. And she was yelling, ba, 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 like I could hear her. So he looked at me. I said, put her on the speakerphone. Go ahead. So he said, okay, Janelle's here. I'm going to put you on speakerphone. And he put the phone down on the desk and she started yelling at me why I hadn't let her know that I was planning to come into New York. So basically my reply was, well, you're supposed to be here. Why aren't you here? You're the one who made this appointment with me. And then she said, oh, well, I had a physical therapy appointment. And I said, but why? Why? You arranged this meeting for me to be sworn in at 3 p.m. on January 3. Where are you? She didn't have a good response, a good answer, and then she hung up on me. So I have that recorded, and in case she wants to deny this conversation happened. So anyway, very, unprofessional behavior. And I was very clear that she didn't want me on the board and that she did everything she could to sabotage the process, from not giving my resume to James Carlos to in advance, to not having it available for the board members to review on the night of the vote, to asking me to step back and then trying to sabotage my swearing in process. So nice try, but it didn't work. And so I was able to secure my place on the board. And Ron Hood, James Carlos, and I agreed that we would really, make this board the no drama board. We wanted to be known for getting things done, for calmly discussing things, in some cases maybe agreeing to disagree, but always treating each other with respect. And I think we succeeded in that. So that is the story of how I became an appointed trustee on the board of the Mount Vernon Public Library. In a different video, I will talk about qualifications, but if you want to read, a summary, my bio is still up on the website votefornewboard.com, VOTE, the number 4, newboard.com, and you can read my my bio on there, so I won't need to repeat that here. So that's it for today. Hope you all are having a wonderful day, and what a beautiful day. What a beautiful spring day. So I love the trees here, so pretty. Spring is my favorite time in New York. Have a blessed day, everyone.